The following is a presentation of the iRacing Esports Network.
Racing, you wanted the best, you got them for abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws.
Here's to hugging corners, not cutting them. To grinding away, not grinding to a halt. Here's to those who stay true to the old saying, if you want something done right, you do it yourself. From Tallboy Storage to the latest line of extreme grip hand tools, Craftsman is there when it matters.
For their 5th round of their 2018 season, the World of Outlaw Craftsman Late Model Championship Series comes to the home of the World of Outlaw World Finals here at the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Qualifying is currently underway. Myself, Cam Walsh, and Hugo Louis will be bringing you all the action of this fantastic series that's been putting on such a great show. And Cam, although he had a bad race in the sprint cars last week, missed his first feature in basically 10 races, 11 races, Howard Weaver has a pretty comfortable stranglehold on this championship at the moment. He's in the lead, clear by about 45 points, so a big gap to everyone else behind. Zach Leonardi is currently in second, followed by Bergeron, Hauser, and Cooper round out your top 5 in the points, but Howard's been having a magnificently consistent season.
He has been having a magnificent season, and there he is on pit lane right now. The 07 is getting ready to pull out and do his qualifying laps. I was going to say, if he wasn't able to make qualifying or got a couple of 0Xs and invalidated his laps, that would only add to the difficulty. But Zach Leonardi, well, that's who currently at the top of the polls. He's got a 15.324, and he's second in the championship points. So who knows? Maybe it'll be Zach's night.
Definitely going to be interesting to see. Of course, this is the first time we come to Charlotte since we've gotten some updates to the racing surface. The other time we came here in the sprint cars, of course, there's a bit of drama, some interesting things that happen, but I think we're going to see a good show here from these late models as Howard works on his second lap at the moment. And I mean, just talking about the way this championship has gone this far, Cam, we're starting to hit that sort of second stretch of the season, getting into the midpoint of the championship. A lot of people who started with a lot of momentum early are starting to maybe sputter out a little bit, and some people are starting to come alive. We saw that from the McKinneys last week.
Yeah, most certainly, and I think that was a really memorable moment of having the McKinney boys go through. As there goes Howard Weaver's times, a 15.5 flat. That's not going to be very good for him. I mean, he is not pretty much anywhere in the qualifying numbers, but I got to say, we've had a great season so far. We're at the dirt track in Charlotte. We've got Volusia, 2 weeks' time. Let's keep going.
We'll have Dylan Hauser out there on a lap right now. Of course, was in for a pretty good run in Knoxville before some drama. Ended up going something like about 6th or 7th quick. But heat race number 1 is now getting set. Cars are getting themselves on the racetrack. Let's go down the format for tonight. 3 heat races. Top 4 in each heat goes directly to the feature. Then, of course, top 8 will come up from that consolation race and go to the feature event. That event format graphic is slightly wrong because we only have 3 heats tonight. Not enough cars to make a full 4. So there will be 2 heats of 9 and a single heat of 8. Let's go down that first heat race with the starting grid, the 24 of Zach Leonardi, as Mr. Cam Walsh said, on pole position. He sets quick time, so he starts at the front of heat race number 1. Alex Bergeron will start on the outside of that front row in the second spot. David Heileman and John Fiddler will roll off from row 2. Jacob Fields and Howard Weaver, the Tomato Man, starting on row 3. Austin Carr and Mark Molnar are on row 4, and Justin Thomas at the back of this one in that 23 car starts in 9th. So, not a lot of, it's going to be hard work for that 23 car, Justin Thomas, Cam, because he's come in. I know he's more of a sprint car guy. He's been quick in the sprint cars. I've raced with him in the past. He's a lot of fun to race with, but he's been not having the sort of season you'd want him to be having, the Swindell Motorsports driver.
No, most certainly not even in the top 25, but you know what? Things can certainly change, and I gotta say for Howard Weaver, no matter what, if he wants to make it to the feature via the Heat 1, he's got to pass at least 2 cars, and we gotta see how this 410-mile dirt track wears in, because it could potentially not be an easy place to pass.
Definitely isn't. We've seen that here traditionally here at Charlotte. It's a little bit of an odd shape for most ovals. It is, of course, an oval, but it's a little bit squashed. You have really long corners relative to the length of the straights, which makes it a little bit difficult to get runs on people. It's a little uncharacteristic for a track this big at 0.4 of a mile, but it creates some very interesting things here. The field rolls down the back straightaway. The pace truck technically peels off midway down that back straightaway, but they cannot get on the throttle. until they get through corners number 3 at least. And you see that 24 gets on it, picks it up, picks that left front, right up in the air. And now Zach Leonardi goes to work out in front. Alex Bergeron and David Heileman are fighting with the 115 of John Fiddler. So that's a three-way scrap for second already, as Howard Weaver's gone to work as well. And he's already up one spot, puts himself P5, slides right out in front of that 007 of Jacob Fields. Almost the same numbers here, racing side by side in heat race number 1.
Yeah, he was able to get a good run on it, but here comes Jacob Fields on the inside. He's almost got a good look here as he's going to perhaps slide up the track and try to crowd out 07, but no. Howard Weaver is able to get a good bite off that top line. I think we're going to start seeing that top line is going to continue to have a good bite, at least in these early heat races, but there is some work left to do for Howard Weaver. He's got to work his way through as here comes Austin Carr working on Jacob Fields.
Side by side here between the 1 and the 007 machine and towards corner number 1. Austin Carr running that low line. He'll have the advantage through the early part of the corner, but you see the way you can pick up the throttle, the tires just drip up so much better from that high line. That's traditionally what you see happening here at Charlotte. Oh, Howard Weaver goes around. Not sure what happened here. He's going to be able to save it, but he collects that 007 car. Is what actually happened to Howard. Oh, I got a little bit of a tap. There's a bit of a stack up in front of him momentarily. Had to lift off that throttle, and well, when he did that, the 007 car of Jacob Fields, really nowhere for him to go. Just basically got right into the back of him and gave him a bit of a half spin. Both cars still running, but they've lost a big chunk of time that you wouldn't have wanted to lose.
Yeah, Fiddler ended up not getting any grip on the side, so he straightened out. Heilman plowed into the back of him and then just accordioned on him. That is not going to be good for Howard Weaver. He is going to have to go to the consolation, and he's going to have to see what he can do here because it is Leonardi, Bergeron, Fiddler, and Heilman for the last lap for the heat race.
That's how they're currently stacked up as they begin the white flag lap. Leonardi is nice and clean and clear out in front. Going to come off that upper groove down the back straightaway. Just maintain that gap to Bergeron through 3 and 4. Bergeron's going to check the bottom. Maybe a bit of a risk, but he'll be able to hold on to that second spot. Zach Leonardi wins heat race number 1. Bergeron in second. John Fiddler in third. And Heileman gets that 4th spot. Bit of a change in position. The closing moments of that one, and then the likes of Austin Carr, Mark Molnar, Justin Thomas, Howard Weaver, and Jacob Fields do not make the transfer, and that 07, the 007, who finish in the bottom 2 spots, those cars look pretty pacey and pretty racy, Cam, so they're going to be starting near the back of this last chance qualifier after these next 2 heat races. Those cars are going to have their work cut out for them for making it into the feature tonight.
Most certainly, and that inside line, I think, is just going to get more worn in as the cars just kind of work their way up the track as the high line kind of gets away. And I have to say, this is the second week in a row in the sprint cars and now in the super late models. Howard Weaver is going to have to race in the B main.
Probably too busy memeing a little bit in the VLR Facebook group chat to be practicing, so hopefully he changes his tune there. As we get gritty heat race number 2, Drew Hirschko in the 26. Or that. He needs to step up his meme game as well. The Drew Hirschko in the 26 car will be starting on pole position for this one. Of course, probably a little chip on his shoulder given what happened to him in Knoxville last time we saw these late models. Casey Kerwin has a bit of a fan following in the chat tonight. He's going to start on the outside of that front row. Dylan Hauser and Zach Rounds are going to be on row 2. Phil Diaz and Austin Selman are on row 3. Matt McKinney and Garrett Nieberge on row number 4. And Josh Phillips rounds out this 9-car field. Really, it's just all eyes on Selman, who continues a string of mediocre finishes than I think what everyone expected from him.
Yeah, most certainly, but you know what? It's one of those things where you just have to continue to get comfortable doing these things, and I think for me, Selman, he's just trying to get together with the newest car, and we'll see what he can do. Pace track in.
So we'll see what happens here as Hirschko and Kerwin get ready to bring them to green flag racing. They roll through corners number 3 and 4. Hirschko, I predict 3, 2, 1 now. Hey, you know what? I should be racing these things. 26 car gets on it, and Casey Kerwin goes to work trying to follow him through and into corners number 1 and 2. But he's got a bit of a challenge for the 2 car of Dylan Hauser. A bit of contact. 14 machine causes a stack up. The 28 car of Zach Rounds goes around. That's pretty much going to end his hopes of making it through here in heat race number 2. The 4 machine of Josh Phillips also involved, and that car might have a bit of damage because it didn't look like it was tracking right through the corner for the first time, but the fight for the race lead. Bit of a rivalry likely forming in this series, the 26 and the 2, Cam. We saw the 26 get robbed at a race win in Knoxville, and it arguably came from the right front of that 2 car of Dylan Hauser, and you know what? We fight them fighting side by side in heat race number 2.
Yeah, points are on the docket here, so it's not like they're racing for nothing. And I got to say, Drew Hirschko, he managed to get the jump he needed. He had about a 2-car length lead going into corner number 1, and he just completely blitzed the corner, and that's what started that entire hang-up there. And right now, Dylan Hauser is going to have to be on the hunt here. He wants to get those points, and for Casey Kerwin, I mean, hey, take it if you can get it. You know, he'll be comfortably in third. He doesn't have to worry about anything, the way he was starting in second. I mean, right now it's going to be Philip Diaz, the one who's going to be in trouble because he has got 3 cars on his bumper.
And they were 3 wide for a moment, that 94, 18, and the 9. That's awesome. So on Matthew McKinney following them. They were 3 wide through 3 and 4. Last 4/10 of a mile trip around the racetrack. They head now in towards 1 and 2 for lap number 6 of 8. 94 car starting to stretch out that advantage. Out in front, though, they're still fighting wheel to wheel. The track seems relatively nice in terms of being able to run a couple different lines. It's the upper groove in the middle that seems to be where you want to be. I doubt we're going to find these cars on the bottom. Just the shape of this racetrack favors higher groove racing as the cars run through corners number 3 and 4 towards the end of lap 7 of 8. White flag in the air at the starter stand. And the top 2 are going to roll off in towards 1 and 2. I don't think we're going to see anything too crazy come from there. Casey Kerwin currently runs that 3rd spot. I think it's all eyes on the bubble spot right now as Matt McKinney is trying to make a move on Austin Selman. They're going to go 3 wide for the transfer position. McKinney and Selman get into each other. Phil Diaz will hold on to it while Drew Hirschko managed to win the heat. Dylan Hauser made it close, though, just a 10th and a half between those two. But the 94 car, he had the bubble going into turn 3, Cam, but it was a little bit of a sweat for him, but he managed to hold on to it.
Yeah, that top line, just once again, that top line is king right now. Coming off of corner number 4, you were able to get that fat right rear on that highline grip. But I have to say, the berm is just going up the track more and more. And at some point, maybe by the end of this heat, maybe by the middle of the B main, we're going to start seeing that thing going right up against the wall.
It's been some great racing already on the all-new iRacing Esports Network. Also got to thank our viewers, of course, over on Dirt Vision for tuning in. A fantastic night of action thus far. Bit of interesting happenings already. But now, 8 cars in heat race number 3, the post and the 9 we've seen. They roll off for their 8 laps. Let's take a look at the starting grid. Kevin Dedman and Charles Cosper starting on that front row with Adam Elby and Nick Cooper on row 2. Virgil Graham, Brandon Schmidt on row 3 with James Edens and Mike McKinney on row number 4. Really the only name that kind of jumps out to me, Cam, in this heat race is maybe Mike McKinney having a strong run at Knoxville. A little bit deep in this heat race, not the sort of qualifying he would like, but at the same time, you can make the argument that 96 car didn't get that finish based on pure pace at Knoxville. Kind of lucked into it, what was some incidents out in front of it.
Yeah, and hey, you know, you got to take it when you can get it. He is still a winner in the World of Outlaws Craftsman World Championship Super Late Model Series. So, I mean, hey, go for it. As James Edens is also there, and we'll see what Adam Elby can do. I have a feeling Adam Elby might be working on this, but it's going to be Kevin Dedman on the charge, and we'll see if Dedman can work his way and get that victory.
Racing safety truck peels down to the access road, and the number 5 of Kevin Dedman will go right past that yellow entry area from where the rear pits are. Also a rallycross race that happened here once upon a time. The 5 car gets on it. We are green for heat race number 3. Then they head down the front straight and in towards corners number 1 and 2. The 74 car of Adam Elby locked down to the bottom of the circuit. The 35 Nick Cooper will take advantage and take that 3rd spot away. Now the 3 of Brandon Schmidt. He looks keen on getting around that 74 car. They're going to go 3 wide for the bubble spot here on lap number 1 through 3 and 4. Look for the 3 car. No, Brandon Schmidt not able to maintain the speed up on the top side. That car looks really tight of Brandon Schmidt. Doesn't look like he can get hardly any rotation on it up there at all as he gets right into the back of the 52 of James Edens, which costs that 52 spot, and Mike McKinney picks up 2 spots in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, and I can only imagine James Edens not going to be too happy about that one. There's really nothing to do with that. And, he's now sitting back in 7th position with already just about half the heat going as they're fighting for that transfer position. Virgil Graham's working that inside line. Perhaps, Randy, that inside line is starting to come into play, but the outside line, as long as he's able to get that outside wide, he is able to power through. Adam Elby is on the number 42 machine.
I think you're likely going to have to make a little bit of contact to make a pass work on the bottom just yet, but that 42 of Virgil Graham definitely tried to throw the slider that last time through 1 and 2, lost a bit of ground, he's trying to close it back up. You see him close greatly there in the through corners number 3 and 4, but still not quite able to do it. The 74 doing a great job of keeping him pinned down to the bottom side of the racetrack and minimizing Virgil's momentum. Down the back straightaway now for working lap number 6 to 7. The top 3 are still stacked up as well. Dedman and Cosper are working the middle of the racetrack. Nick Cooper's still right up against the outside wall. Now we see that 33 car move up to another lane. We also see the 52 James Edens working on the 96 of Mike McKinney, but we need to look at these battles up front, especially for that bubble spot. White flag in the air at the iRacing starter stand, and in towards 3 and 4 they go for the, 1 and 2 for the final time. Bit of contact between Cosper and Nick Cooper. Cooper, I think, lifted out of it there, not wanting to risk his standing in this heat race and give up the ability to go straight to that finale tonight. A little bit of contact between LB and Virgil Graham, but Dedman will take the win, and Adam will go directly to the feature, finishing in that 4th spot. Cosper and Cooper will make up the sandwich there in the top 4, and then the rest of the field, the likes of Virgil Graham, Mike McKinney, James Edens, and Brandon Schmidt make up the 8 cars in that one. Pretty much everyone's finished where they started in that one, Cam.
Yeah, I was expecting Cosper to really dive in on the last white flag lap there on that inside line. I was hoping something would stick, but nothing that he had. As now we will go to the consolation race, and again, the consolation race has got some names in it, and we have both of the McKinneys, Semmelman. Howard Weaver is a really big name. I mean, it's just, again, this B main, there's going to be a lot riding on it. And only, 4 are probably going to be going?
8. So that is one thing I do like about these 3 heat shows, is that it takes a little bit of pressure off that last chance qualifier, because you don't need to finish in the top 4, you can finish in the top 8. So because of that, things can get a little bit less crazy and less intense. That said, that could still be a bad thing, I guess, depending on your opinion. But let's go down.
6 going home.
Yep, 6 going home here. So let's go down your starting grid for the last chance qualifier. Austin Carr and Austin Selman. Row Austin out in front with Virgil Graham and Mark Molnar on row 2. The row of brotherly love on row 3, Matt and Mike McKinney with Justin Thomas and Garrett Nieberge on row 4. James Edens and Howard Weaver will make up the top 10. Those two, the first 2 cars starting on the outside of those transfer spots. Josh Phillips and Brandon Schmidt on row 6 with Jacob Fields and Zach Rounds on row number 7. So, through corners number 3 and 4 they roll. And Cam, who's going to be disappointed and who's going to be the surprise to make it into the top 8?
I mean, it's one of those things. I have a feeling we've had 2 or 3 times now where in the first 2 laps there has been at least some kind of bobble. Now there's even more on the line, so I wouldn't be too surprised if we don't see someone spin around in the first couple of laps.
Cam, maybe expecting a little bit of drama, and you know what? Definitely can say probably with the way that these guys they'll get very desperate, wanting to get their way into the feature. Field rolls themselves now in towards 3 and 4. Austin Carr in command of the field, waiting. A little bit later than I think we've seen most people go tonight, but we are green for 15 laps in the last chance qualifier. They're fighting side by side for 5th and 6th. The 97 is going to try to maintain the top. Get the third spot, he won't be able to, and there it is. The 52 car of James Edens is the one who went around and collected the 28 car, as well as Zach Rounds. Actually, yes, that was the 28 car, so there's your early drama, Cam, and James Edens' night goes from bad to worse.
Yeah, that started with Nieberge. He ended up getting into that top wall. That hit Howard Weaver. Howard Weaver, he absolutely pinned it because he went, well, all right, we'll go this way. And unfortunately, Howard Weaver's machine was there. Zach Round's machine was there. And that puts them well far behind. So for James Edens, unless something dramatic happens, which I can't imagine 6 other cars retiring, as Nieberge is still having some dramas here. Somebody almost goes around. I believe that was the number 4 machine of Josh Phillips. I got to say, this back of the field here, it doesn't seem like anybody wants to catch up to the rear of Howard Weaver.
Howard Weaver has been having, I'll say, nothing, I don't feel bad about this at all. A very lucky heat race here, last chance qualifier. First couple cars out in front of him, spun around and got himself into the transfer spot. He then lost it, and there's a little bit more drama in front of him. They're still keeping it up, 23 in the 97. Make contact in the middle of the racetrack. Howard has to check up. That's Mark Molnar and, Justin Thomas, who get into a little bit of contact. Thomas got in the back of that 97 there. That caused Howard Weaver to check up. I thought Howard was going to be going around the outside there, but not quite able to do so. Out in front, though, still your top two own those first couple spots. Austin Carr and Austin Sellman. Matt McKinney, he's picked up a couple spots to be running in third. Virgil Graham is back one in fourth, and Mike McKinney runs in that fifth spot. Then you get Molnar and Thomas and Howard Weaver, your top 8. And then after that, you get Garrett Nieberge and Brandon Schmidt. They round out your top 10. And then you get Josh Phillips, Jacob Fields, and James Edens, although he's way far back, still technically in this heat race. And in as a dark horse chance as we're halfway.
Yeah, and I got to say, shout out to Austin Carr, most certainly. He's got about a 5.5 car length lead, and I will say, I'm seeing the right rears of these super late models. They are basically touching the outside walls through 1 and 2 as somebody throws a massive slider from about 19 leagues back. I believe that was Mike McKinney on Virgil Graham, as we're starting to see that top side just start to fall away as the slides are going to start coming. And Virgil Graham, give him credit, he's hanging tough on that inside line, Randy.
We've also had another change of position. Justin Thomas and Howard Weaver. There was a little bit of contact between the two. So Howard moves himself up into 7th. And Nieberge actually got around. And now Justin Thomas is looking to go back even further as the 3 of Brandon Schmidt makes a move down low. A little bit of contact again. And Justin continues to fall backwards. The 4 car, Josh Phillips, gets around him. And they're 3 wide again. Justin Thomas just threaded a needle to keep himself in this one somehow, some way. And he's very aggressive trying to hold on here. I thought he was going to be nearly out of it. But that move up the middle was absolutely fantastic to be able to hold on.
Yeah, and Garrett Nieberge is going to be happy about that. He doesn't have a mirror, but he's going to be happy about that because on lap 13 out of 15, he is sitting there in position number 8, and he now has about a 5.5, 6 car length lead over Brandon Schmidt. And Howard Weaver, he is still on the attack. He is going and trying to get by Mark Molnar. He wants some of these points. He wants to extend his championship lead.
Definitely wants to, is what Howard Weaver does, but I think he's going to be most happy to at least be able to make the feature to maximize his points haul. He's still working on Mark Molnar here. And they come off of corner number 4. White flag now in the air for the last chance qualifier, and it's still Austin Carr in complete command of this field. 1.2 seconds clear of Austin Sellman, and he will win the last chance qualifier. Sellman and McKinney 2nd and 3rd. Then you get Mike McKinney in 4th, Virgil Graham 5th, Mark Molnar in 6th, Weaver 7th, and Garrett Nieberge rounds out your top 8. Drivers going home tonight: Brandon Schmidt, Josh Phillips, Justin Thomas, Jacob Fields, James Edens, and Zach Rounds. And in that list of people, there is one car who did not, who started inside of that top 8, made a mistake, and because of that, will not be running in the feature tonight. And you know they will be unhappy about that. It is that 23 car, Justin Thomas. We, however, are going to take a quick break here before we go to our feature event. Be sure to stay tuned. It will only be about a minute until we are back. Do not go away.
Did you know your DirtVision.com account gives you free access to our on-demand video library? From the DirtVision.com homepage, click on Demand Video near the top right of the screen. And from there, countless hours of World of Outlaws footage awaits at your fingertips. Watch every lap of the current World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Car Series season.
Sheldon Hodge looking for a run. Dives low into turn 3. Slide job! Sheldon Hodge shield to the cushion. Johnson turns it back underneath him, but Sheldon leads lap 23.
Or dive into some of the historical options with videos in our Classics section.
He has clear visibility, comes off the 4th turn in the clear, and leads lap number 1.
It's all available free and on demand on DirtVision.com.
Well, it is time. We've seen some fantastic racing here happen at Charlotte. And as that middle groove and upper groove has started to wear in, things have gotten action-packed in the 5th round of the World of Outlaw Craftsman Late Model Championship Series here on iRacing, being presented on iRacing Live at the iRacing Esports Network and on Dirt Vision. Cam, this feature is going to be absolutely insane. The warm-up is coming to a close right now. 20 cars on what, I mean, I know it's technically basically a half-mile racetrack, but I swear when you run this place and when you watch cars race this place, it just seems like it's always so crowded.
Yeah, and it's because of that banking, and once the track wears in, which, well, as I can see on the racetrack with how these cars have had to throw themselves up to the very top of the berm, right up against that wall, it is going to be a very crowded racetrack, and not only that, we are going to see a lot of slide jobs going into corner number 1. And on the exit of number 2, that outside line isn't going to be getting the grip that they used to in the heats.
Definitely correct, and you know what? It's time to go down your starting grid. 20 drivers, then from different types of racing here on the iRacing service. We'll go over that as we go down the list. Out in front, a couple of late model specialists, Zach Leonardi and Drew Herchko. On that front row, Kevin Dedman and Alex Bergeron. Alex, of course, been around the block in a few of the iRacing World Championship Series. He currently runs the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series and the Sprint Car Series as well, but he also had a short stint in the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series. Dylan Hauser and Charles Cosper are on row number 3, with John Fiddler and Casey Kerwin on row number 4. Casey, of course, a NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series driver as well. Cooper and David Heilman will be starting on row number 5. Phil Diaz and Adam Elby on row 6. Phil is currently the only driver on iRacing to have 5 World Championship licenses. He runs in the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series. He runs in both of these series as well as the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series. Excuse me, it's 4, not 5. I know he helps out for the GT cars for Team NX as well. Austin Carr and Austin Selman. Row Austin continues on row number 7, with Roe McKinney just behind them on row number 8. Virgil Graham, Mark Molnar are on row 9, and Howard Weaver and Garrett Nabruge make up the 20-car field here tonight. Lights out on the iRacing safety truck. We are going green. This time by, and the 24 car of Zach Leonardi will be in command of the field. The iRacing safety truck pulls off, gets some nachos, hopefully with extra jalapenos, as the field works their way in towards corners number 3 and 4. And we wait. 24 gets on it. We are green for 50 laps here at Charlotte.
Already a great 2-car length given to Zach Leonardi. He straightens out a little bit through corners number 1 and 2. Looks like everybody's clean. We've got a good 3-wide scrap as Dedman wants a piece of the action on the inside. But for the most part, everybody's clean. Drew Herchko and Alex Bergeron dragging on the backstretch.
Through corners number 1 and 2, they're going to roll once again. Bergeron hooked up top. He has that second spot for now. But Herchko not giving up on that middle groove. So fantastic side-by-side racing out in front, and they're going to keep it up. And Alex is just going to get that second spot away, but I don't think Herchko is done just yet. Actually, you know what? He might be, but the 3 wide for 4th behind. 115, the 5, and the 2, all fighting it out. You have Dylan Hauser up in that fight as well. And now they're 3 wide again for another couple cars back. So this mid-pack is so insane as everyone's essentially fighting with everyone else.
And the dust is starting to get kicked up here. Anyone in the mid-pack there, I gotta say, is Dylan Hauser and John Fiddler have been going at it. Dylan Hauser hooked somebody up, Casey Kerwin, and that throws John Fiddler up to the top side, and a couple of cars have to swirl around. They get everything back and under control as they are staying 3 wide, basically lap after lap. And for Howard Weaver, he has been trying to work his way through the field, but I just can't imagine that it's easy to see when you've got this many bodies thrown around, especially as Virgil Graham gets spun around. There we go. That's going to be our first caution as he found himself getting looped around there, Randy, as they were coming off of corner number 4.
Well, I think it's pretty much going to be inevitable there. That 42 car makes a little bit of contact. 35 and Nick Cooper. Just not much he could do there. I think that 42 car thought he was clear when he wasn't. Pretty much spun himself across that 35 nose and threw himself on the outside wall. But it ended up not being a big contact, so he'll go to the back of the field. But outside of that, we're not going to lose any cars, so we're going to be resetting the field, which I don't know if that's a good thing or not, Cam, the way these guys are racing. Everyone seems relatively equal here tonight. And these guys definitely have the gloves off here already for the feature. Normally you see them play a little calm with each other for at least the first 10 to 15 laps. Not tonight, though. These guys are out for blood.
Yeah, Race Control even said right before that caution came out, it said, easy, take it easy. They got the flagger there to kind of give everybody the sign. I know that they're racing for cold hard cash out
when
there.
The official word from Race Control is easy.
Yeah, it's it was inevitable. I mean, to be fair, I guess I should say I'm surprised that it went that long. I mean, it was basically 3 wide from the drop of the green for a full 7 laps. So I mean, hey, good on them for keeping it green. But yeah, if they keep this up, I can imagine some people can work their way up through the field.
So, field getting ready to get stacked back up. Lights go out on the iRacing safety truck. The 24 Zach Leonardi will be bringing us back to green flag racing. Alex Bergeron already showing the sort of pace he can have, starting on the outside, which is where we've seen that 12 car be strong all season. He went from 4th to 2nd in that opening little stint. Let's see if he can make something happen here. He stole a win off Nick Cooper at Lima Land on a restart just like this, but that was much later in the race. Can the 12 car time this restart and challenge the 24 towards corner number 1? Answer's going to be no. He's going to give up a couple car lengths, and Drew Hirschkill will have something to say to that 12 machine in towards 1 and 2, but he won't be able to hold on to it. Top line, too strong here on the restarts.
If there's anything we know from Alex Bergeron, it's that the top line always seems to go right in hand with that number 12 blue and black machine. As it's interesting because everyone's taking the high line through 1 and 2, and then they dive down to the inside for 3 and 4. So interesting variables with how they're changing their lines here.
Oh, big caution! 94 and the 9 get into each other. The 18 of Austin Sullivan goes around. Caution's going to fly once again. This started with Phil Diaz and one of the McKinney brothers, I believe the one in the 9 car, and that's sort of the scary incident that you never want to see, Cam, at one of these dirt racetracks. A lot of them have sort of these access walls on the right-hand side that sort of jut out at a bit of an angle, and that 94 and the 9 made contact going down that back straightaway, and it threw that 9 car of Matt McKinney right into that outside wall, right at the pit entry of the hard contact. 94 Phil Diaz got into it, and unfortunately the 14 and the 18, pretty much the 40 in effect, got into each other as well. We saw a scary crash in the VRS GT World Championship Series, and if this would have been real life, that would have been potentially been a really scary crash as well.
Yeah, certainly with everybody, of course, still on their feels coming off of the unfortunate incident in the World of Outlaws series. I gotta say, I did notice that Philip Diaz's machine, he was buffeting. He was doing that thing where it starts pogoing, and I almost wonder if he wasn't getting good enough traction, perhaps, that Matt McKinney was. And I gotta say, that's kind of happening on the backstretch. We've seen this a couple of times now. This racetrack gets burned in. These tracks are getting burned in. They start getting bumpy, Randy, and I think that's what we're starting to see down on the backstretch.
Yep, it is definitely something to keep an eye on. So Phil Diaz may be struggling with that car's setup. Like we said, he's a very busy man, running in 4 of the World Championships and likely doing some helping in the 5th one. As the field gets doubled back up here, lights back out on that safety truck. So now the 12 car maybe gotten the opportunity to see where Zach likes to go for the restarts, as they're getting the order, I believe, from Race Control to close that gap up to the safety truck. So Alex might just have an opportunity to time this restart once again. Let's see if he's going to do it. They've worked themselves in towards 3 and 4. Well, where will that go? We wait. And once again, Alex not quite on it, but Casey Kerwin, he times his restart, pulled up alongside. They're going to be 3 wide for 3rd. The 14 on the bottom, the 5 in the middle, the 26 up top. Casey not quite going to be able to keep it up, but he's still down 3 wide with the 5 and the 2 down the back straightaway, still trying to make that bottom line work, and they're basically swapping 3 wide for 4th and 5th. They finally get it 2 by 2. An aggressive restart from Casey Kerwin there. And we got another big fan, the 5 of Kevin Dedman right in front of the field, and I don't know how everyone misses him.
That, I think everyone was still kind of in their 2 by 2. Is I will say Austin Carr was kind of the one that broke the camel's back, as it were, and David Heilman cleaned him up. But yeah, for Dedman, I mean, I think you just have to sit there and just grip the steering wheel. I mean, I can only imagine what an onboard looks of that number 5 machine. Maybe we can get a look at that on the replay here. There it is. There's the onboard. You get turned around, you go, oh boy, that's not good, and then you just have... Yeah. you just have 2,200-pound race cars coming at you at full speed. It's not like anyone can get out of it.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only thing. Race control voicing their displeasure as well. Thing is basically just people consistently running into the back of each other. So I think we'll likely be getting a single file restart here, Cam, because we've had a couple yellows immediately at the end of a caution period. So likely go to single file, and that should help clean up the racing a little bit. But it will also take a little bit of the advantage, or at least a little bit of the potential for, say, that 12 of Bergeron to make a move and pick up a spot.
Well, we have to remember, this is a 50-lap feature here. We've got another 30 laps to go, so it's not like these guys are going to be running out of time, but it does look like they're going to be getting a 2-wide start. I would say if we get one more issue, that they're going to make it, it's one more double file. If they have another issue, they're going to do it single file. But either way, we're going to go back to green, Randy.
One more attempt here, 2x2. Hopefully these guys calm it down a little bit, but let's see what happens out in front. If Alex is going to be aggressive on the restarts or not. Coming to 30 laps to go. The 24 gets on it, has to check up a little bit, but is still able to maintain his gap. 26 and Drew Hirschko gets a great restart on the 12 car of Alex Bergeron. Not quite able to get there, though. There's a huge stack up in the mid-pack once again. A couple 3-wide moments up and down the field, but so far so good, as I think the 07 and the 74 make contact, but it seemed pretty light. No one even comes close to going around, and we stay green through that first lap of the restart.
And Howard Weaver has ended up parking it in the outside wall, and he ground that wall, and then he found Matt McKinney. Matt McKinney ended up found in Austin.
96 cars around. Mike McKinney just found one of the tires on the inside. That was no one other's fault but him, and that is one of the things that's difficult here at Charlotte. A lot of dirt tracks will do that. They'll put those tires down around the inside of the racetrack, prevent people from cutting. Of course, the Knoxville format is to just put a big berm around the inside that then everyone sticks their left front on anyways, but he just basically ran that nose right into one of those tires on the inside and bounced off of it. Never a fun incident to have. So both of the McKinney brothers they go from 1-2 last week to both of them getting into issues within the first half of the race this week.
Well, they're both missing front nose cones, so at least you can still tell it's them out there. But I will say we're going to go to single file now. Unfortunately, I have to say, I guess, because, it wasn't a multi-car incident, but you know what? Clipping those inside tires is probably one of the easiest things you can do when you're trying to run an inside line. And, I mean, there's really not much you can do other than put something up there to punish people for having, for trying to take as much of the inside as you can. This ain't IndyCar. It's one of those things, because we always, there's also that, which track is it that has the pit wall that is literally right there that we've seen a couple of people drive into?
Eldora can make, I think you're thinking of Volusia.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're getting a restart here. Single file. That should at least give people a little bit more room to work with so that, people aren't forced down to the bottom. So we'll see what happens. 24 car gets on it now. 25 laps down, 25 to go here at this restart. And the 24 with a nice big advantage over the 12 as they roll through 1 and 2. Up and down the field, a couple fights. The 74 and the 07 maybe trying to swat spots just a little bit, but not too much, as that 74 car is trying to actively work that bottom groove, and then everyone's starting to try to work themselves out. But it's a little bit of stringing out with the single file camp. Seems like it's likely to clean up the racing just a little bit.
Yeah, we do have a good clean start here. I have to say, if Hirschko is able to get around Bergeron, and there's another caution, watch out, because every single restart, Hirschko, as to the inside goes Austin Carr on a massive slider, and Casey Kerwin is easily able to counter. I will say, if Hirschko is able to get to that second position for a restart, he certainly seems to have had Zach Leonardi's number. He's been easily pulling alongside Bergeron, and he even almost had a shot at that on that last restart that last time.
Definitely seems like it. 26 car of Drew Hirschko has been slowly reeling in the 12 of Alex Bergeron. Bergeron's moving around trying to find a better groove to run. He's currently up along the top. He ran sort of a weird line through 3 and 4. A little bit of a mid-pack scrap here. The 21, the 33, the 115, the 74, and the 07. So 5 cars all fighting it out here. in the middle pack. This is about for 8th, 7th on back here to about 12th or 13th, as it's the 21 of the 115. Heileman and Fiddler out in front of this. The 33 of Charles Foster, gets into the outside wall a little bit, drops a couple spots, so that immediately brings it down to 4 cars, as Howard Weaver in the 07 and the 74 of Adam Elby are going to take advantage of that, and it's mostly going to be Howard Weaver taking advantage as he picks up a couple spots. So Howard has been doing a fantastic job as he started 19th in this race, and he currently runs 9th.
Yeah, and there's 1.1 seconds between Zach Leonardi and Alex Bergeron, and Howard Weaver is almost nowhere to be found. Back in the 9th position, he has worked his way through.
People continuing to work their way through, up and down the field. Out in front there, the 24, Zach Leonardi, 1.2 seconds out in front. The 26 of Drew Hirschko is still closing in on Alex Bergeron. Dylan Hauser is 4th as we get another yellow. Let's see what this one is for in this field. Trying to see who went around. Looks like maybe it's stacked up on the back straightaway. As we bring up a replay for you, I think you're right. I think it was Garrett.
No, he ran into it. I think it was an accordion up on the high side, and I think it was one of the McKinney boys.
Oh, I think you're right. I think it was that 9 car of Matthew McKinney, of course, who got into it. And actually, did Phil Diaz help that? Actually, you know what? It's pretty much, you know what? Is that 35 and Nick Cooper? 35 and Nick Cooper is the one who started it. He just simply drove into the outside wall on their entry to 1. And when that happens in front of you, Cam, there's nothing you can really do to avoid it when you're in line and the car in front of you either gets into the wall or gets tight in the center of the corner or has to, get up. I mean, get off the throttle, excuse me. As much traction, as much bite as these tires have, they don't quite have enough to allow you to really get on the brakes and just stop that the 9 car would have loved to be able to do right there, especially with cars happening behind you. That's sort of incident that whenever that happens and someone finds a wall like that, it's pretty much unavoidable.
Yeah, absolutely. And for Nick Cooper, he tried to throw it into the corner, but that big, long rear quarter panel ended up clipping the wall. That straightened him right out. And once he started grinding that outside wall like Tony Hawk, everyone was just kind of clamping into each other there. But so you know what, though? It's one of those incidents where it's not the damage. We haven't really seen the retirements. I think we still have not only all 20 cars running, but all 20 cars running at least fairly competitively as the pace car goes back in.
Yep, all 20 cars on the lead lap. So everyone's still fighting here. Also got the word from race control that every restart will be a single file one. 24 car Leonardi gets on the throttle and he pulls away 5-6 car lengths away. He's done so every single time tonight. Couple car that think getting into the outside wall a little bit. I think it was the 14 and the 1 I heard as the 26 and the 2 are now right on top of each other. We saw drama with these two at Knoxville, and now they're going to fight it out for 3rd. And I think they may have made a little contact down the back straightaway as Dylan Hauser is going to try working that 26 of Drew Hirschko. And after what happened in Knoxville, Cam, I don't think Drew's going to play nice with the 2.
No, absolutely not, and I believe that is, there's Casey Kerwin. He is currently on the charge. He started in 8th. He's up to 6th right now, but David Heilman goes on his inside. It's a bit like shuffling a deck of cards right now. Every other person seems to be going either between high to low to high to low. So interesting to see how these guys are trying to take the different lines here. As I will say, the track not only is rubbering in, that backstretch is getting all the more bumpy. If you can really see that there's a couple of really nasty bumps before you head into 3 and 4.
Definitely seems that way. The 24 car comes across the stripe. Bergeron still in 2nd, keeping him a little bit honest, but still a big 0.7 of a second gap. Closest fight up near your leaders is still between Drew Hirschko and Dylan Hauser. Howard Weaver has also just made a move on David Heileman. So Howard Weaver from 19th up to 7th thus far tonight, but a fantastic run for him. And the feature is Drew Hirschko. He finds the outside wall, and Dylan Hauser gets himself down to the bottom and takes that 3rd spot away. So now it's going to change hands here. Up for the fight for 3rd of the 1 car of Austin Carr. Throws the slider on Drew Hirschko, makes wheel-to-wheel contact with him. He wants that 4th spot now, and Drew Hirschko goes from 3rd back to 5th, but the 1 car gets into the wall, and now Casey Kerwin will be fighting with the 1 of Austin Carr, and he's going to go down to the bottom on a slider, 3 wide, really aggressive here from everyone, and none of them want to lift. The 07 of Howard Weaver is going to pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's going to get them all done with. What amazing driving from the 07 car, who's gone from 19th up to 4th, and they're still fighting. That not 26 cars in the outside wall again, and I think it's Austin Carr, no, who was it? Someone was in the outside wall, almost T-boning it.
How is this still green? I don't even know at this point. Howard Weaver has worked himself up into 4th position. Right after that, they went 5 wide. That is just absolutely incredible with how hard these guys are pulling on each other, how hard these guys are pushing on each other. Cosper ended up hooking the rear of Philip Diaz, but these guys have been straightening their machines out. They want to get to the finish of this thing, and it's been very exciting. Austin Carr and John Fiddler now currently fighting for the 5th position. What this has allowed is a massive gap to develop between Leonardi, Bergeron, Hauser, and there's basically an entire backstretch to that Howard Weaver, as we still got good fighting here. 2 laps to go.
Lap and a half to go now as the race leader runs down the back straightaway. Cam's right. It's basically half a lap gap between Zach Leonardi in 1st and Howard Weaver, Austin Carr, and whatnot in 4th. And the white flag's going to wave now for that 24 of Zach Leonardi. Closest fight is between Austin Carr and John Fiddler. That's going to be for the 5th and 6th spot. So that's the place we're really going to be looking. But first, 24 car Zach Leonardi. He's going to come off that final corner, and he'll be $300 richer coming home with the win on the night. And let's see, between Austin Carr and John Fiddler, Austin's going to round out that top 5 from coming from deep in the field as well. He started 13th to get himself up to 5th. But man, oh man, Cam, this seemed less like a feature race and more like a 50-lap boxing event between 20 people.
I was darn near Mad Max proportions amount of door slamming into each other. But you know what? I mean, absolute shout out to Howard Weaver. He worked his way through that chaos. I mean, everyone was leaning on each other. Everyone was slowing each other down. He hooked to the outside and dived to the inside right when he needed to. He went from 19th in that race to 4th.
Let's go down your post-race results here from the feature at Charlotte. Zach Leonardi with a big win tonight, this evening, which will be his first on the season. Alex Bergeron comes home in 2nd. Dylan Hauser once again ends up in 3rd. A couple moments from the 26th of Drew Hurchko once again. Maybe a little bit of a bubbling rivalry forming there. Howard Weaver up 15 spots to finish 4th. Austin Carr will round out your top 5. He went up 8 spots tonight. Maybe those two have an idea to show you what patience can do in some of these races, because we didn't really see them in too crazy stuff until the end. John Fiddler ends up in 6th with Adam Elby in 7th. Nick Cooper in 8th. Drew Hurchko, big loser once again, started 2nd, finished 9th. No, he's going to be frustrated with that result, and Matt McKinney will round out your top 10. Casey Kerwin in 11th, Phil Diaz in 12th, Austin Tellman in 13th, David Heileman in 14th, and Garrett Nebruge in 15th. Virgil Graham, Kevin Dedman, Charles Cosper, and Mark Moeller round out the 19 finishers, and Mike McKinney in the 96 is the one car to DNF this evening. Don't go away. Post-race coverage starting in just a couple moments here on RaceSpot TV, on Dirt Vision, and on the all-new iRacing Esports Network. Do not go away.
Courage at the mile. What part did courage play in this victory?
Mike Kinzer going into the corner, trying to get by Dale Waxo, makes contact.
Hell of a lot, I'll tell you that right there.
So many times, everybody had lost track. Look at how it shot up on the center track.
Tell you what, that was some close races at a high speed.
The World of Outlaws create memories for fans every night. Now share your favorite Outlaw moment on social media. Whether it was 1978, 1998, or 2018, we want to know, what's your Outlaw moment? Did you sneak into a victory lane picture? Get whiplash driving past a parking lot full of crews at work? Or maybe you simply got to meet your favorite driver in the pits after the races. Tweet it, Instagram it, just use the hashtag #MyOutlawMoment. You might even hear Voice of the Outlaws Johnny Gibson share your memory at the track. Don't delay, start posting today. Let us know with My Outlaw Moment.
Well, what a race this was. 50 laps of action. Didn't let up the entire way. Had a couple cautions along the way, but overall, it was a very, very fun race to watch. And at the end of it, the 24 car of Zach Leonardi ended up being the victor. We will talk to him right now here. Now we have him, the 24 car. Zach, I'm not going to lie, this seemed like the perfect night of racing for you. You were quickest in qualifying. You dominated your heat race. You got out in front early and ran away from the entire field, even with the restarts. Could you ask for a better night of racing in these World of Outlaw Championship Series?
I don't think you could. I've been plagued with bad luck, like pretty much every race, and so just to get one done, it felt pretty good, especially to do it the way we did it, And it wasn't it wasn't just caution fest where I just got to ride around for 50. I was having to sit there and make sure I wouldn't hit the fence because Alex was on me hard, and I knew Howard was coming through the field too. I was kind of surprised to see him get back up to fourth, so I got kind of worried when I saw him up there too.
I know a lot of people were really, excited for Knoxville and the races that had in store for it. Honestly, I think the night we had here tonight is probably the best race we've had on the season. We saw some of the best racing that we've seen all season here tonight at Charlotte. And why do you think that might be? Because I know it's a track that a lot of people, it is sort of oddly shaped and it's a pretty difficult to run side by side here. But it seemed that a lot of people were able to do it and put on a fantastic show.
Well, I think I said something in the interview the other week about I thought this was going to be the best one, at least so far. And then just, I did a whole lot of hosted races this week just to get, kind of prepared for it and get ready for it. And I think it's just, ever since they made that cushion update to kind of, put it down a little bit, 1 and 2 still cushion dominant up there. In the previous practice, actually, we killed the cushion so bad it got to the very bottom. So it would have been interesting if we got that slick. But I think it was just how, we built a cushion in 1 and 2, but it wasn't like super dominant. It was just you kind of keep momentum up there. And 3 and 4, you could really race anywhere you wanted to. I don't think up against the fence was as fast as like the middle, but I think you could run middle bottom on anybody. And I noticed in all the hosted races, it raced about the same way, and someone could come through the field and people would fall back and stuff. Up front, it was kind of boring just because, you get the guys that'll kind of spread out. But back in the field where there's most of the racing going on, it is a really good track to race on right now.
Volusia has their second stop next week. You think you're going to be good there?
I'm hoping so. I was pretty confident there last time, and I came unprepared last time, so I'm gonna give it my all. I think we can do good at it. Just we're kind of riding a wave of top fives right now, so I'm gonna try to keep on it and just try to keep Howard and Alex behind me.
Well, congratulations, Zach, on a strong run tonight. Before we let you go, who gets it done for that 24 car?
I just want to thank Dead Zone Racing and the Drill Spill with Ashton Crowder helping us out with setup stuff. Couldn't do it without them. My teammate Casey Kerwin, technical partner Philip Diaz. Leonardo Racing Designs, and I just want to give a shout out to iRacing for letting us, do this and giving us a platform to run the Pro Series on, the World of Outlaws for sanctioning it. That's really cool. I get to race in real life, so it's kind of more of a normal deal for me. For a lot of these guys, I know, sim racing's as real as it gets for them, and it's really cool for those guys to get to race World Outlaw stuff. So I know it means a lot to a lot of guys, and I just think it's really cool for them to step in and let us run.
Well, congratulations once again, Zach. Good luck to you in a couple weeks' time when these guys come back to Florida.
Thank you.
There he is, race winner of that number 24 car, riding a wave of momentum here thus far this season. Next in line, 12 car of Alex Bergeron stood by with Ron Walsh.
Alex Bergeron finishing 1.5 seconds behind. You started in fourth. You had a bunch of opportunities with the restarts, but fortunately, Zach just seemed to be a little bit too hooked up, and you had your mirror, proverbial mirror, absolutely filled with Drew Herchko restart after restart. Alex, how'd your feature go?
It was not too bad. We started fourth, and I'll finish second, so it's okay. I was just here for points, honestly, just get back on the roll and just trying to get back on top, the championship standings, and hopefully it's going to happen this season again. And get some more wins. But tonight I just missed on the gear tonight. I decided to make a gear change before the race, and it didn't go as planned. And I'm proud of second though, because that track was kind of tricky but cool at the same time.
Yeah, 9 points behind Zach Leonardi now after the count of the points. Howard Weaver's still your championship leader, but either way, third's not bad. Almost halfway through the season, we're going to go to Volusia in 2 weeks' time. Are you getting ready for that one?
Oh, for sure. We'll try to get some good results the rest of the season and just stay on the top 5 every race and get some good qualifyings and just try to get good results every week the rest of the season.
All right, Alex, floor is going to be yours. Who do you want to give a thanks to before we let you go?
Oh, definitely all the guys at VLR, especially Howard for the help on the setup. Thanks also Garrett Robinson for being on the box tonight, for helping me out spotting, basically. And all my sponsors, Their Collective, RacingDude.com, Meyer Inc., Their Car Racing, and BK Designs for an awesome paint scheme every week. And World of Outlaws for putting this on, and you guys for doing an awesome job every week. Very appreciated.
Well, of course. So that is Alex Bergeron, currently third in points, but you know what? He keeps putting on good finishes. It's going to be certainly an interesting championship. Randy, we're going to get it back to you.
How's he doing it?
Yep, back over to me. Now I'm stood by with third place finisher, that 2 car of Dylan Hauser. And Dylan, you had a bit of a run-in last time out, the 26 car of Drew Hirschko, and you guys were doing a lot of side-by-side racing tonight. There seemed to be a lot of taking and not much giving between the two of you. Is that a rivalry we need to be watching here in the future?
I wouldn't say that. It's just two close competitors who don't really give an inch because we're all here to win. That's what we came here to do. They come here to run second.
Well, you came here tonight to run third, but that's beside the point. But regardless, this track was really racy, and you were, well, I mean, the drivers we talked to, Zach and Alex, they were pretty much clear of it, but you were pretty much in the thick of it all night. Track was really, really crazy for you. How was it dealing with all the traffic from the likes of third, fourth, fifth, sixth on back?
You had to use your head. You had to lift for a lot of people, you know. Some guys on restarts want to hit the cushion, you just have to get out of the throttle, and then once I got to third, we pretty much settled in, and the restarts on single file, and we just kind of settled in there. We weren't going to bite the bullet like last week. I feel like we got robbed out of that one, but we're just happy to come in with third. Past couple weeks been rough.
Well, congratulations, Dylan, on a strong third-place finish. Finally bring one home a little bit after what happened to you at Knoxville. Before we let you go, who gets it done for that 2 car?
School of Racing Graphics, srgfx.com. If you're into paint and sim cars or real race car wraps, go to their website. They got templates, graphics, illustrations for t-shirts, you name it, they got it. In FTP Motorsports, Carter Speed, and Tittle Brewing Co.
There he is, 2 car of Dylan Hauser. Picks up a couple spots to finish third on the evening. The last interview of the night, he picked up nearly a couple dozen spots on the night. The 07 of Howard Weaver goes from the final row to fourth, and the 07 car, driver of that 07 car, is stood by it with the one and only Cam Walsh.
Howard Weaver. Well, you did not have a good heat, but you know what? You managed to get your way through the consolation race. We won't go through all that. Let's just go through that last kind of sector. That last section of the race, those last 5-10 laps, it was wild. Everyone was beating and banging on each other. How on earth we didn't pull a caution, I don't know. How'd you manage to work your way through that to get yourself up to a good 4th place finish?
Well, luckily I had a lot of practice the whole rest of the race avoiding the carnage, so by the time I got to that one, they were only 3 wide, so it was a little bit easier, I guess, compared to, it seemed like they were 5 and 6 wide before. So yeah, I seen someone on the bottom go in there, and I was like, all right, he's not going to make that corner 3 wide. And I went in low too for some reason, thinking they might all push up, but then I saw they were kind of like to hit and stay down, so I just shot up to the outside and blew past on the outside, and Hirschko threw a slide job in turn 1 and 2, and I ducked under that and let them battle it out after that, and got kind of a lucky move there. But I was fast. It just needed something like that to get up there without wrecking, and it worked.
And now Volusia is going to be up next on the schedule. They're Mr. Current Champion with 355 points. Leonardi, obviously, he's reeling you in little by little. We're going to go to Volusia. I was going to say, if you start 19th at Volusia, I do not see that you're going to have the opportunities that you had here at the dirt track at Charlotte. What are you going to do to prepare for that one?
Yeah, Volusia is the track that I won at in the opener, so I was good there then, probably not now, but I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a setup from a teammate, hopefully, and it'll be fast, and hopefully I'll qualify better. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to put in a week's worth of practice or whatever, like some of them, so if I can get in here and win a little bit of money every week, that'd be cool with me. So, yeah, I ran a couple officials at Volusia a couple weeks ago when it was there, and it seemed a bit slower than I was in the pro race, but you never know with these tracks. They always change for the pro race, it seems like, as far as conditions. So it's just something you show up on race night and see where you stack up, basically. Hopefully I make the A main.
All right. Either way, current championship points leader with 355 points, Howard Weaver. Thanks, and we will see you next time.
Thank you, guys, and good job to Zach. He's a good real-life driver, too, so that's cool to see him win.
Absolutely. And so, Randy, we're just going to keep on going on. I guess we also have Austin Carr, kind of a long interview thing here we have tonight, but, hey.
Yeah, we'll make it quick with the other driver who picked up a number of spots here tonight. Austin Carr, 13th up to 5th tonight. You were one of the other drivers really involved in that mid-pack. How crazy was it trying to survive that?
Yeah, it was crazy. You had to pick and choose your battles, but when I got into Drew there, he just pushed like a dump truck mid-corner and just stopped, and there was really nothing I can do, and he did it twice, and it was a rough race, but I wish the track would have slicked off a little bit more. I wish that everybody would have showed up, because once that middle would come in, everyone probably could have ran 2 lines, and it would have been awesome.
One thing I actually want to know from you, Austin, it's less to do with the upcoming race for this championship at Volusia. I'm actually really curious, what do you expect to see next week at Williams Grove in the sprint cars? I know that Williams Grove is a track that a lot of drivers weren't too big a fan of, but with the way the recent updates have kind of come, the racing seems to be really, really good. I think this is the best night we've had across both of the championship series by far. But what do you think we're going to get at the Grove? Because I think it might put on a good show.
Well, I'm not even in the sprint car series, but I'll give you my opinion.
Yeah, but you're knowledgeable. I know you got an opinion.
Yeah,
you probably got a better opinion than Howard Weaver. Let's be real.
Yeah, Howard's he's a special one. He's definitely a special one. But Williams Grove, man, that track that's probably the trickiest track on the game, just the way it's shaped and configured. With the way the straightaways are, you just get so close, tight quarters racing, and I think with the sprint cars, man, they always put on a show there. But with the way the track has been there, it doesn't really feel like there's a lot of grip, so there's a lot of slipping and sliding, so there's a lot of room for mistakes, and it should put on good racing, especially in the sprint cars. I ran there a couple of days ago, and it was awesome, so it'll be cool to see what they can do there, and hopefully the sprint car racing cleans up a little bit, and then hopefully the late models just stay how they are for right now.
Thanks for joining us, Austin. Who gets it done for you on that number 1 machine?
Definitely got to thank UDSRA with Michael Rosendahl, Tim Hunt, and Larry Moody, everybody over there. Got to thank Dirt Car Racing, Tim Hunt Designs, Dirt Co Media House, Sprint Car Insiders, and UDSRA. And got to thank you guys up in the booth and iRacing and Tyler Hudson for what they do for this.
Yep. Thank you for that, Austin, and good luck to you in a couple of weeks' time at Volusia.
Thank you, man.
Well, Cam, that does it pretty much for our post-race show. First thing from you, closing thoughts. This is a really fun night of action tonight here at Charlotte. Well, I think one of the best nights of racing we've seen thus far.
Yeah, we had a pretty good night there. A lot of beating and banging, a lot of people throwing door slams on each other, and then somehow they all managed to keep it mostly straight. We can do with a couple of last cautions, but you know what? We have a good run when we have these long 50-lap races, and of course the track gets the snot beat out of it as well, and that always brings a good racing. So happy to see that. I can only imagine what these guys are going to do at Volusia.
It should be an exciting one. Volusia is always a fun track to watch, and I'm still really excited for the Grove and the sprint cars. One of my favorite tracks in the sim for sure. But that is going to do it for us for the World of Outlaws Craftsman Late Model Championship Series here on RaceSpot TV and on iRacing Live and on Dirt Vision, and of course the all-new iRacing Esports Network. You're not done watching RaceSpot TV content just yet. Unfortunately, we have to disappoint you for tonight, but there's going to be a lot of exciting action thus far this week. This was only the first of 3 world championships we have on the docket. The iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series makes its 3rd round to the Sonoma Rallycross circuit. That should be exciting. And we also have the 9th round of the World Championship Grand Prix Series at Zandvoort. That should be an exciting track as well. And of course, we are bringing you 18 hours of coverage during this weekend's 24 hours of Spa. Be sure to check all those GT3 cars for 24 hours around the traditional and iconic track in Belgium. We just had the VRS GT World Championship race there this past weekend, and it was absolutely fantastic. I expect much the same to happen for an extra 18 hours of action during that one. But that is going to do it for us here on RaceSpot TV. Be sure to tune in to one of those upcoming races and into the next round of the World of Outlaw Championship Series in the sprint cars next week. Same time, same place. Until then, bye-bye.